Ngapi? 10,000. So the commission is going to be 10,000. Now, I want us to continue now by looking at wages and salary. Let's just go to the wages and salary. Remember the wages, we must understand what's our wages and also what's our salary, and also the method used in computing wages. Now, first we are going to look at the wages and salary. So you write wages and salary, that's the topic, wages and salary. Now, what's our wage? So you say the wages means the reward or the services of employees. Means the reward or the services of employees. So in this case, we are talking about the rewards you are going to receive for the services you are going to render to your employer. So you continue, wages can be paid according to time. Wages can be paid according to time or according to performance. So you continue by saying method of computing wages. Method of computing wages. So let's look at the two main methods. One is known as the time rate method. Time rate method. That's the first method. Now, when we talk about the time rate method, it's the method which the firm is going to use by looking at the number of times you have worked. So the wage rate is going to be determined in advance, assuming that maybe they are going to say that when you work for 1 hour, they're going to pay 20 shillings. So when you work for 3 hours, then you take 20 times 3. So you continue by saying, under this method, payment is based on, under this method, payment is made on a measured unit of time. Measured unit of time. That may be an hour, a day, a week, or a month. Or a month. So, hujapata fundamental? No, hujapata fragments. Now, I said under this method, payment is made on a measured unit of time. That may be an hour, a day, a week, or a month, even a year. The hourly rate is determined in advance. The hourly rate is determined in advance. So let's look at the second. Okay, we continue by saying the total wage of the worker, the total wage of the worker is calculated by multiplying the hourly rate, with the number of hours worked. Now, with the number of, it's multiplying the hourly rate with the number of hours worked. Therefore, you just say the total wage will be equals to the wage rate multiplied by the number of hours. That's how we're going to do it. Now let's go to the second method, which is known as the piece rate method. Now, when we talk about the piece rate method, is that particular method in which you are going to be paid according to your performance, the number of units you produce. I get the point. So that's the piece rate. They are not going to look at the time you have spent, but they're looking at the number of units. So you continue by saying, under this method, an employee is paid per unit of product. An employee is paid per unit of product, articles, or job completed. This method is used only. If the work cannot be divided into uniform pieces. So that is known as the piece rate method. You can only apply it if you cannot divide the work into uniform pieces. So let's continue by looking at the deduction. That's not the method, but when you're performing a duty to your employer, there is the deduction which is going to be done from your salary. That's known as the deduction. So you continue by looking at this deduction. Now remember, immediately you're going to receive the salary. What you're supposed to receive is known as the gross wages. Then you are supposed to receive the net wages, but the total wage is known as the gross wages. So there will be some deduction made from your gross. You're together. Then you receive the net. So you continue by saying gross wage is obtained by multiplying the number of hours worked with hourly rate. So you just say gross wages will be equal to the hourly wage multiplied by hours worked. So there are some deductions which are made. From gross wage. Net wage is the difference between gross wage. Net wage is the difference between gross wage and deduction made. Between the gross wage and deduction made. Therefore, net wage net wage will be equals to the gross wage minus deduction. So the deduction include one, we have NSSF, two, we have NHIF, three, we have pay as you earn. Then four, we have union due, etc. So those are the deduction which the employer is going to make before paying you the net wage. The net wage is the one you are going to receive. Now remember, when you're working for any employer, then you are required to pay, you are required by law to pay what's known as the income tax. Now this particular income tax is going to be deducted at source. And this is where we talked about the pay. So this is the amount which is going to be submitted to the government as tax. But remember, the pay is a system or is a method of deducting the tax at source. It's not a tax itself, but it's a system of deducting the tax at source. I hope you're getting the point. So you continue by saying, pay is the income tax which is payable by the employee. Pay is the income tax which is payable by the employee. This amount is deducted by the employer. This amount is deducted by the employer and submitted to the tax authority. So we have the NSSF. What is NSSF? So you continue by saying NSSF, that is the National Social Security Fund. National Social Security Fund. It is a compulsory contribution. It is a compulsory contribution in Kenya. Now, why do we contribute for NSSF? We are contributing for NSSF because when you retire, then you must get that particular benefit for your retirement. It's a retirement benefit, which you are going to receive in the near future. Now, this particular NSSF is supposed to be contributed by employee and employer. When you are contributing 200, the employer also is supposed to contribute 200. We are together. So the time when you are going to, when you reach the retirement age, then you have to claim the amount which you are contributing, plus the interest. The NSSF will earn the interest. So don't think that when you contributed 100,000, then that's what you're going to claim. You're going to claim more than 100,000. Why do you claim the interest? Remember we talked about the interest. And we said that the interest is what? What did we say about interest? Somebody, interest, what is it? Talk about interest, what is interest? Huh? Yeah. So when you're using someone's money, then you must pay an interest. It means that when you're contributing for NSSF, it's going to be put on the pool. And then that particular money is supposed to be used by the fund by maybe investment purposes. So they are going to give you the interest because they are using your money. You're together. Now, let's continue. We look at the NHIF. NHIF. It's known as National Health Insurance Fund.